easy. But experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to the round 6 of the CIL FC. I am your host, Edward, alongside with my co-host, Sky, and tonight we are going to be racing at the Barber Motorsports Park for the Charger Motorsports Grand Prix of Alabama. It is a 47-lap race, so right there we got it out there on screen for y'all to see. 2.38 miles, 3.83 kilometers in length, 16 turns in total, so it's going to be a lot to remember for me. It was opened in 2003, just like my birthday, and pit speed at 45 miles per hour, 72 kilometers, and it is first seen in 2024 season 11, and that is right now. Located at Birmingham, Alabama. Welcome everybody, like I said, to the round 6 of CLFC. And I would say, Sky, it's kind of like we're going back to our roots, right? We definitely was racing on ovals lately, and we were racing on not ovals, but it's been a while since we got back to, I guess, the grounded state of road racing and what makes CIL FC what it is in terms of road racing.
Yeah, I mean, we switched to the IndyCar this year, and with the switch to the IndyCar, there's no better place to go than what I think is really a classic IndyCar track. I mean, Barber is a staple on the schedule. I think I've personally never driven here, but I think it's one of the most fun tracks to watch in IndyCar. Like, must-see TV every time it comes around on the schedule, and I'm expecting no different here tonight with these IndyCars in the Formula College Series.
Yeah, and one thing that I did see was like there's many different parts in this racetrack where it's there's like the spider, then the S's, like there's like specific like I would say landmarks that this racetrack has that a lot of the folks are gonna kind of be on the lookout for. And as we're saying right now, it looks like qualifying is underway, and Lucas Missile Moody is up top. He got the provisional pole as of right now, a 109.17. And just when I said that, Cale Davidson, his Ball State partner in crime, teammate, has taken it to 109.101. And wow. Never mind, he just put in another lap, a 109.047. So right now, Cale Davidson topping the charts while we are relatively really early in on qualifying. But Sky, do we suspect Cale Davidson a comeback for today?
Well, I'm looking at two names that are not on that board yet, and one is Jordan Johnson, and one is Muhammad Alif. And neither of whom have set a qualifying lap, both of whom always seem to come out of these road course qualifying sessions 1-2 in lockstep with each other. You never know which one is quite going to grab pole, but they're always going to be up there in the mix with each other. And I think it's going to be really exciting to see, does one of them snag it here tonight, or do we get an underdog on the front row? Maybe Lucas Moody or Cale Davidson, Alif's teammates from Ball State University. Maybe a bit of an outsider pick like Ryan Whitlock, who's currently in third from Alabama Huntsville in his home race.
Yeah, and speak of the devil, Muhammad Alif takes provisional pole with the 108.401. That's 5/10 faster than Cale Davidson. Ryan Whitlock just set another 108.7, but only 3/10 off of right now Alif, as we're seeing him on board there in the Ball State Cardinals IndyCar. And I mean, what an insane lap right there, a 108.4. I mean, I've been looking at the drivers here and there, but also kind of peeping at the I would say the race strategy and pre-race. And a lot of people were saying how 109, low 109s was probably going to be, you know, the fastest times. 111 seems to be like the cutoff or so. But a Leaf just 108 straight away. But Sky, Jordan Johnson still hasn't put down a lap.
No, he hasn't yet. Jordan Johnson, not with a lap yet.
Oh, never mind.
And, well, there he goes. Jordan Johnson, fastest lap. He's really a contender in this series, but he hasn't had a great start. Some of the ovals have kind of tripped him up. Ended up lap 1 out at Nashville and then caused a massive accident at Indy, so he's going to be hoping to do a little better here tonight.
Sky, every time I say something, I get proven wrong, so I'm just gonna keep it to a minimal tonight, I guess, because I'm on roll with 3 instances now. But Clay Halterman, he's up top in P3 right now with 108.651. So qualifying nearly halfway over, now more than halfway over now. As we're on board here with the Kent State driver, Jordan Johnson. He's currently P2 with the 108.336, so he looks like, I think he's on his 3rd lap, so he has one more chance here to maybe steal that pole from our Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, Jordan Johnson on board. I mean, once again, I said that these two always seem to dominate the front row. Here we go. Our Muhammad Ali on pole. Jordan Johnson so far in 2nd, and then it is 3/10 back to your next car, Clint Halterman, who is way behind. I'm very interested to see if he's able to close that up or if he's still going to be stuck out there in 3rd place, locked out of the front row by the duo of Alif and Johnson.
I mean, I do want to point out quickly, like, it's just, you're right, that Alif and Johnson always up front, but Clint Halterman, I mean, we don't see him, well, we see him qualify top 10 here and there, but, I mean, if he gets top 3 here, he might have a shot to perhaps keep close with them. I've seen him really good on race pace, but unfortunately, he's usually behind other people. He has to get through them, and that just eats away his tires. So if he has a clean racetrack in terms of just letting Alif and Johnson duke it out, he might be able to overcome them. And as we see on board, one of our CL Rookies FC season debut, Thornton Thomas of Rose Team Institute of Technology, whipping that car around, getting to the line. He's currently P15. Will he make a faster time? And he is still P15, so currently P15 for the 46 driver.
Yeah, watching John Hagan now as he completely whiffs the corner from the University of Oklahoma. Last week's winner of our Indy 250 in 8th right now. He says he's going through another corner. He says he's a much better oval racer than he is a road racer. But, I mean, he won the Indy 500 and he didn't have a bad run going at Road Atlanta in the Cup cars last week, but was held behind by a pit road penalty. He'll be looking to rebound from that today. What is the news?
The news about John Hagan and the suspension.
Oh, yeah, he did get suspended. He did crash a bunch at Road Atlanta at the end of that race and get suspended. We've got 2 suspended OU drivers for Chicagoland, which I'm sure is going to be great for me.
So I was going to say, Sky the GOAT? Question mark? Because it seems like you're the only OU driver allowed to race in the next Cup Series.
Congratulations, Sky Shrek. Only non-suspended driver from Oklahoma.
Well, as we see Jordan Johnson, I think he's on his 5th lap. I think he's just been practicing really well. So, I mean, it goes to show how much these guys are willing to put it all on the line to really get an edge over the competition. Because right now, I mean, I was just looking over at our Muhammad Ali, and he's pitted away. Like, he's done. He's going to wait for the warm-up. And Jordan Johnson, he's done his laps. He's done his qualifying. And he's still going. He's trying to get much more track time and trying to get an edge over the competition. So this is how much these college drivers, they really want to win in tonight's race.
This is very off topic, but I have just gotten a message from our steward tonight, Alex Hallinar, and I expected it to be a ruling on this qualifying session. Instead, it was, just sent you a fantasy football trade. So great stuff happening in the Marshals post right now. I'm sure they're loving this qualifying session.
Was it a good fantasy pick?
I've not seen it yet.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll get an update on that shortly, maybe after the race. But, I mean, wow, Jordan Johnson just spinning it around. But one thing to note, folks, is going to be about the tire. I guess, right as we were talking, he goes into the pits. And I was just about to say, let's go on board and go on a lap here, but never mind. So right now, our Muhammad Ali sitting as provisional pole as we have 30 seconds left in the qualifying. But yeah, tire selection. So it's gonna be 40 laps, 47 laps. So it's gonna be a really grueling race because it's a very technical race. So it's gonna all be about which tires that the drivers are gonna start out with and how they're gonna maximize their long stint runs as we see the beautiful hills of Alabama. And Sky, who are your picks for tonight? Before we go over the grid, before we go and start the race off, what is it gonna be?
Money's on Jordan Johnson, I think. He is. I don't know if he's won a race this season. He's been up there a lot, but he's had a lot of bad luck that's kind of set him back in the points. Usually, you'd expect him to be like top 1 or 2 in the points. He's sitting back in third right now, barely ahead of Ryan Whitlock and Ben Fiore. So this is going to be a chance for him to really turn it around, try and get some good points, and set himself closer to Muhammad Alif because right now he's 65 points behind.
My pick, and you stole my pick. It was gonna be Jordan Johnson, but because we got to make it separate and unique, I just have a little itch that Alif and Johnson might just collide here, as this track is very technical and we see a lot of dive bombs down at the turn. I would say in the last corner, and down the back straightaways. So I'm not gonna say Alif or Johnson. I want to say Clint Holtzman, but we've always seen his luck, right? We've unfortunately kept seeing him running up there in the top 5, top 3, but he has to get through traffic and he gets caught up in some things that is always out of his control, really. And he's always been either 4th or 3rd, depending on who's in front of him. So, but tonight, I have a good feeling about it. So my pick for tonight is gonna be Clint Holtzman.
That's an interesting one for sure. I know he's doing decent in the points. If I can pull that right back up here, he is 2nd in the points, so he is ahead of Jordan Johnson right now. We'll see if that continues into this race. Fun thing though, both he is 2nd, Jordan Johnson is 3rd. They are both 40 and 65 points behind your point leader Muhammad Alif, respectively.
Wow, and talk about a season domination by Muhammad Alif, and of course, the amount of wins he's accumulated, but we'll see tonight if that's gonna mean anything with the fight between Jordan Johnson and Muhammad Alif. So let's go through the grid and let's go through our top 10. So of course, Muhammad Alif, Ball State University, the number 12 car up in provisional pole, followed by Jordan Johnson, Kent State University by his side. And row number 2 is going to be UNC Charlotte, Clint Holtzman, the 044 car in P3, starting alongside with Ryan Whitlock of University of Alabama, Huntsville. Home track 2 for them. Row number 3 is going to be Lucas Moody Missile, Ball State University, P5, a really great start for him, so we'll see if he can capitalize this one tonight. And Jay Cummings of Gonverse University, the number 5 car, he's also got a shot here at P6, a really good start. And in P7, it's going to be Cale Davidson of Ball State University. The number 2 car has a good qualifying, another top 10 for him. And John Hagan for ORU, it's going to be P8 for him. And rounding about our top 10 is going to be CILFC rookie Wyatt Burton for Indiana, and P9, and Hunter Hesty, who has made a surprise here as he's going to be running for Clemson University tonight in P10.
Yeah, Hunter Hayes, he doesn't show up very often, but when he does, he is pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to get the rest of the results up for you here from P11 on back. Here we go. Ben Fiore of Marist College will roll off 11th, with Ricky Paz of East Carolina in 12th. Cohen Evans from Purdue at Indianapolis is qualified 13th, with Jason Wallet of Drexel in 14th. Thornton Thomas from the Rose Holman Institute of Technology in 15th, with Marlo Duncan from the Milwaukee School of Engineering in 16th. Another Ball State driver, Nick Henley, in 17th, starts 1 row ahead of his teammate Dylan Beatty in 19th, with Alex Finnerty in between them in 18th. Adrian Tubakovic, last car in the top 20, will roll off 20th for St. Clair College.
And in P21, Tyler Klingensmith barely missing out the top 20 from Robert Morris University, followed by Aiken Lamar, the number 94, and P22 for Howard Community College. Alexander Diamond, P23 for Drexel University. Jonathan Eggy, another Robert Morris University, P24. Alan the Goat Hong, St. Clair College in P25. Lee Kane, the number 14 for University of Southern Mississippi in P26. Troy Cammy for New England College, P27. And lastly, Charles Wembley, the number 18, Guilford College, who unfortunately, I believe it says here that the car 18 word from race control that has not met the 107% time. So unfortunately, Charles Wembley will not be able to race tonight.
Yeah, I don't believe he's even made a. Oh, he has made a couple Formula C starts. My bad. He's made 5 Formula C starts. He's been in all of them. Oops. He's running 6th in the points, so that might be a big loss for him in terms of the point standings, because he kind of needs those points to keep himself above 6th in the student standings.
Are we talking about Charles Wembley, right?
Yes, he is 6th in student
Yeah.
standings, 8th in overall standings.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like he did. Yeah, he did make a he made a practice time of 1:13. So for anybody watching who is a Charles Wembley watch cam, 1:13.3 he posted in the practice, which unfortunately was outside of the 107% rule, and just a little bit of a, I guess, a refresher for what we mean by 107% rule. This means that the drivers have to at least make an attempt of a lap either in the practice and in the qualifying, in which that it was supposed to be in a range of 1:12. So they had to at least get a sub minute 12 and set a lap within the bounds for it to be counted towards. And if they do not set a lap in within those 107% rule, they will unfortunately be sent home and receive a DNF and DSQ.
Yeah, I just want to highlight some of the point standings here, because the kind of key line is the top 10 in points. You want to be in the top 10 in points, because if you're outside the top 10 in points, you don't make any money out of this. So looking at the top 10, we've got a couple drivers who I do not believe are here tonight. Charles Wembley, Matt Burton, and Walker Green, 8th through 10th, all using one of their 2 drop weeks, not at this race tonight. That opens the door for drivers in 11th, 12th, and 14th. Cohen Evans, Lucas Moody, and Jason Wallet, who are here and will be hoping to jump those cars to move themselves into a money position for the end of the season.
Oh boy, as you heard it from Sky, a lot of people, quite a few amount of people not racing and going to, depending on their drop week. But I mean, Sky, maybe it's just my take, but I kind of don't like having to rely on the drop weeks, unless if it's absolute emergencies, you know?
Yeah, you know, I personally think as a cup driver, I try to show up to every race. I think the drop weeks are best used for races where something just goes like horribly wrong immediately, and I'm like, oh god, what do I do? Example
like a hurricane.
Includes, I believe, yeah, like a hurricane. I believe my 2 drop weeks this week were Road Atlanta, where I got crashed out on lap 4, and Auto Club, where my headphones broke before the green flag. So you don't want to be intentionally using those drop weeks, because then you might get crashed out on lap 4, and you've got to take the points for that race.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, Scott, that was a tough scene to watch from behind when I saw you getting wrecked out there. But I mean, hey, these aren't Cup cars; these are Indy cars. So let's get rolling here. As right now the field going out of turn, I believe turn 7 down the straightaway, and well, as we see, looks like the top 4 has taken. Yeah, it looks like the top 5 have put on the red softs to start out this race. Looks like the first person on the black tires is College University, Jay Cummings. So he's going to be starting out in P6, but he's going to be the one to be on an alternative strategy. So starting on those hards, he can most likely, of course, last longer than those guys up front and have a hard charge at the end.
Yeah, that'll be interesting, because we've seen some races where those tires wear really fast. We've also seen some where they kind of just don't wear at all. So it'll be an interesting mix of strategies if Jake Cummings is able to pull that off. I believe Ricky Paz back in 12th might be the next car on the hard tires. So that's a pretty big gap from Cummings back to Paz, Evans, or not Evans, Paz, Wallet, and Thomas, who are all on the hards.
Also, here's a fun fact. I just heard over the driver's radio, John Hagan saying he just bought this track.
He did.
Not even an hour, like nearly 2 hours ago. And honestly, I'm with John Hagan here. I just bought this track 5 minutes ago so I can hop into the booth and watch from my binoculars up top, because it's about to get spicy up in here. As it looks like the pace car is now going out of pit road. The leader's taking the final corner. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, welcome to the CIL FC Round 6 racing at Barber's Motorsports Park. And the green flag is out. And away we go. Our Muhammad Leaf takes the lead, quickly getting on the gas, and it looks like Jordan Johnson is going to fall back into second place with Clint Halterman, Ryan Whitlock, Jay Cummings fighting it out, duking it with Lucas Moody, and Jay Cummings takes 5th place. What a start for him as he gains a position, and now Lucas Moody being under attack, looks like by John Hagen. John Hagen looking onto the inside. Can he make a pass? No, he does not. He's going to have to settle in for P6 at the moment. P8, and someone's going to send it in. Cale Davidson, Ball State University driver, sending it in, trying to get past him. And they're still side by side. John Hagen trying to hold down the outside. And it is a caution in the back. That was a big wreck.
Ooh. Cale Davidson got 2 in 1 corner there before that caution went out. He went in on Hagen and Fiore from 9th place, and he got them both. I'm not sure at the moment what this caution is for. I do not have Barber pulled up at the minute.
I can tell you right now, Ryan Burton just went flying. His car went flying down the back straightaway. I think out of going it down into turn 6, I believe. Wyatt Burton made contact with Alexander Diamond, and Wyatt hit him on the right rear, which sent his car flying into the air for a few feet and absolutely destroying himself. So we'll see if we can get a replay on that. But yeah, Alexander Diamond, he got a lot of damage there. So another bad luck start for Alexander Diamond. I mean, geez, every time he starts, the man always gets in a wreck, unfortunately. But yeah, it looks like Alexander Diamond, as he spun out into the corner, he took out Dylan Beatty. So one of the CIL FC rookie got involved in that wreck. And from what I see, it looks like, yeah, 3 drivers have been affected by that.
We're going to try and get a replay for you here. We're going to watch Dylan Beatty. This is from the green flag, so we'll see how this happens. Immediately, it's a very bad start for Dylan Beatty. He's already way back on the car in front. This might take a little bit. I'm not exactly sure when this wreck happens.
No, it's 3 more corners.
Halfway through the lap, so yeah, it shouldn't be too long after the start. Dylan Beatty will go up the hill. He's in pursuit of somebody in front of him there, and he'll head down.
He'll get sideswiped right there.
Oh. Okay, Alexander Diamond right into the side of him.
Yeah, and it wasn't Alexander Diamond that started it. It was Wyatt Burton. So Wyatt Burton, that was starting behind them, he unfortunately looks like he locked up the tires, and yeah, that's him right there. So folks, as we're gonna focus here on the number 26 car. So I don't know what happened here, but yeah, so he just we got race control telling us that car 26 just got a EOL for causing the collision, and rightfully so. As we as right now over the hill here, down the straightaway, you're gonna see Wyatt kind of looking on the inside for a second there, and down the hill. Ooh.
Oh my goodness!
I mean, Sky, what do you think?
He went over the fence.
He went over the fence.
He went over the fence, and iRacing reset him back to the pit lane because you are not allowed to go into the stands.
Yeah, iRacing will pull you out like Latitude and Mario Kart, right? When you get off bounds, Latitude will pick you up. So Wyatt Burton got picked up by Latitude immediately. For the audience in the stands, of course, in the outfield. But look at that.
Oh my good, yeah, he went over the fence.
He got sent to Brazil into the back rows.
Whoa.
Yeah, so unfortunately a bad start for Wyatt Burton, and as we saw going into that corner, it was a downhill, Sky. And you know how it is trying to break downhill. There's just not enough downforce compared to braking on a flat or an uphill. So going downhill, you have to be on the brakes a little bit early, and I think Wyatt Burton just got off guard by that.
Maybe a rookie mistake. They're not as used to these Indy cars as some of the other drivers in the field, and just completely blowing it into that corner. Caution is out, and I believe we have exactly 1 car on pit road, and it is Ricky Paz. So I'm not sure if he has had some kind of issue or if that's a weird strategy call, but he is the only car coming down.
He switched, yeah. He swapped tires.
Interesting. Did he started on the hards, correct?
Yeah, he did start on the hards. He was in P12.
From the hards to the softs. This could be something to do with the fact that you have to run both tires once. So if Ricky is really convinced that the soft tires are going to be better than the hards, it makes sense to maybe get those hards off as soon as possible and put the softs on. I'm not sure how well that'll work, especially in the later parts of these runs, but Ricky Paz is going to give it a shot.
But think about it. I could see this as from a crew chief perspective, right? Ricky now has completed his compound swap. Remember, folks, the rule is, as we're on a road course, we have the standard where you have to absolutely change your tire compound. So he started on the blacks. He went into the pits now during caution and got those reds on. So that means he can go strong here and pit again and get reds again. But I mean, it's a good call. But look at that. He has 22 cars ahead of him.
Yeah, it's going to be a long drive through the field for Ricky Paz. And even if he can make it through the field, those tires go quick. And having to fight your way through 12 cars to get back up to where he was previously is going to smoke those tires pretty fast. So, very risky call for him, and only time will tell if that's going to pay off or not.
I guess one thing to really notice is, like, this has created, I guess, I don't know. This isn't sufficient to make it a one-stopper, right? They still have to.
No.
Even if they could somehow make this on fuel, they still have to change tires. So, when the leader takes his flag, it will be lap 4 out of 47, which means we'll have 43 laps to go. So, I could see Ricky's plan would be to go, I guess, 22 laps, and I could see the advantage of being able to just go on the reds again and being able to pick off the ones that are on the blacks, because the majority of the field are on those red tires. But as we see there on the bottom left with the race analysis, right, 47 laps, folks, and the estimated fuel window is 15 to 18.
Yeah, because if he was trying to stretch the fuel window, he would have stayed on the hard tires. He wouldn't have put the softs on, because the softs are going to wear out pretty quickly in the run. He's still going to do a two-stop. Clearly, he thinks being on the soft tire was worth the 12 positions he had to give up to get on it. We're ready to go here at the line.
Yeah, safety car has now turned off their lights, but I'm not sure if I was the only one, Sky, to think this was kind of a long pacing. Like, this was, I think, an extra lap that they did. I don't think they had to, but so it's going to be interesting to see how far they can really save tires. As we saw, yeah, estimated laps 15 to 18. So let's say, right, they are right now, when they get going, I'm going to assume maybe they can go another 16 laps. So I could see that the longest run, Alif, Johnson, Halterman, Whitlock, everybody in the top 7 that stayed out, or really top 10, I could see them making it to lap 21. That's the longest they can go. But then when they pit, they'll still have 26 laps to go. So regardless, I don't think they can make it on a one-stopper. They'll still have to pit for a splash and go.
Yeah, it'll be I'm interested to see how that will pan out. We're looking at everyone's college there on the side, except for Hagen, who is of University of Oklahoma. Ball State University in the lead, and in 6th, and in 7th. 3 spots in the top 10 for them. Alabama Huntsville, this is their home track, their home race, running 4th with Ryan Whitlock. A lot of varied colleges in the top 10. 7 different schools up there right now.
I mean, I'm not jinxing it, but could we see the return of the wall of Ball State? I mean, right now, yes, you said 6th and 7th, and we saw Lucas Moody on the charge. I mean, he got two positions there. I'm sorry, no, that was Kel Davidson on the charge in those first few corners. So Kel Davidson seems like he's got a lot of momentum on these restarts. So we'll see if he can capitalize this and maybe work well with his teammate right in front of him. And hopefully they don't, tangle up down into turn 2.
Yeah, and it's worth noting, Lucas Moody, or our Muhammad Alif, won the race, the Cup race at Road Atlanta. Lucas Moody was 2nd, so he's coming off some momentum from the Cup race on Monday, and he'll see if he can carry that through today.
And maybe for Kel Davidson, that's a kind of like a wake-up call, saying, hey, you got to get your act together. I mean, we haven't seen Kel Davidson up in the podium in a while now, so we'll see if that Ball State, I guess I should say, performance from Monday move on to here, as Muhammad Alif now going to lead the field back to green here at not Road Atlanta, Barber Motorsports. Barber. And now, as the green flag is out, we are now going and racing here at Barber Motorsports. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Round 6 is underway. Once again, our Muhammad Alif takes the lead down into turn 1, up into turn 2, as the top 5 seems like they're all in order. Nothing in the back I see. Looks like we have a clean start for now, as Kel Davidson trying to make a move right now, but he does not. And looks like he's going to have to settle in behind Lucas Moody. And it looks like they're all stringing out, all top 10. Not much movements.
Yeah, just give it a second. Barber's a track that tends to induce a lot of close racing, a lot of passing. It's a very technical track as well, which only adds to that because it's really easy to make a mistake here. It's fast, it's flowing, it's one that a lot of drivers love. It really is a driver's track, and I do not think it is going to take very long for the passing and the battling to commence here.
Yeah, as we see, it looks like Lucas Moody, he's got a run on Jay Cummings, but was not able to get closer. But whoa, look at that, John Hagen for OU. He's in the grass. They're all in the grass. Looks like there's oil on the track. John Hagen just spun it out. Jay Cummings on the outside of Lucas Moody and the Moody missile. He's gonna try and make a move, but he cannot. And it looks like he's gonna be able to hold him off so far. No, as Lucas on the outside trying to make something happen down the straightaway. And it looks like John Hagen lively on the driver's radio, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Sky. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, John Hagen, I know you said he bought this track only about an hour or two ago, and that is one of the things that can happen when you do only buy the track about an hour or two ago, is you don't know where the acceleration point is, and you go flying into the grass out of the corner.
Yeah, and I was gonna say a spectacular move. I cannot take it unaccounted for. Lucas Moody, that pass on the outside down the straightaway. I think we'll see a lot of passes there down the last corner to the front stretch, because to set up that exit corner, that exit speed, if you're defending in the corner before, you'll really sacrifice your exit speed on the next one. And it looked like Jay Cummings, he had the outside trying to defend, and then on the inside he lacked that momentum, and Lucas Moody was able to capitalize that, and now he's up to P5. But Kel Davidson, seeing that happen, he wants to take a piece of the action, and he's right now behind Jay Cummings, trying to get closer, but to no avail.
Yeah, Kel Davidson's going to want to join his teammate up there in 5th, and then hopefully eventually join his teammate up there in 1st, because our Muhammad Alif has just ran the fastest lap of the race with a 1:08.644. That is faster than the qualifying times of almost every driver in the field except for him and Jordan Johnson. He's got a half-second lead over Jordan Johnson right now. It's 2.1 seconds back to Clint Halterman already, as we're watching Ben Fiore follow Jake Cummings behind in this train of cars. Alif and Johnson are kind of clear at the front. Halterman and Whitlock in their own little pack, and then Moody on back to about Cohen Evans in 11th is all still right in a line here, battling with each other.
Yeah, and one thing to note, I'm kind of seeing here as a pattern, the tires, a lot of people are actually locking them up throughout the top 10, and especially through the S's, that really short shoot S's, and in the heavy right-hand turn. So it's going to be interesting to see how well these drivers save tires. And one person I can count my money on, and unfortunately it's your pick, and you might have a good chance here, Jordan Johnson. We've known and seen how well his race pace is. So a long race like this one and a technical race like this one, we'll see if Alif can match up with his skill and hopefully improve on his tire saving.
Jordan Johnson, fastest lap of the race over Muhammad Alif that time around in 2nd. There's really starting to form some packs here, because Lucas Moody is starting to get away from Jake Cummings and slowly encroach on this train of Ryan Whitlock as he goes around the inside of Clint Halterman. Still side by side as we head down the straightaway. It's Ryan Whitlock. They're both on the push to pass. Down the straightaway, it'll be Whitlock on the outside. He'll have to surrender the spot for now. Clint Halterman will hold on. My point about Lucas Moody getting closer to this battle is only getting more correct, because as these two battle it out, they go side by side. They slow each other up in the process, and Lucas Moody is able to get closer and closer, reeling these two in as they slip farther and farther from your leaders, Muhammad Alif and Jordan Johnson.
And one thing I really loved about that move by Ryan Whitlock, now he didn't get the pass done there, but he does put the pressure onto Clint Halterman. He says, I'm here, buddy. You better chop, move up, or else I'm going to take over that spot. And it was a really great move down the S's that he just decided to let him go. He said, I'm not going to eat these tires up. I'm going to let you buy it. But Ryan Whitlock, I can only imagine how much patience he has, because he wants that clean air, because the more he stays behind Clint Halterman, the more he's going to struggle. And if we see on board here, Jordan Johnson, the closest he's ever been, only literally less than 3/10 as Jordan Johnson down the backstretch, getting closer and closer to Alif as they go through the S's here. And he just takes a better line. I've been noticing for the last 2 laps, Johnson making it a little bit more tighter, and Alif kind of using up more of his rears. So, I mean, it's an old tell. Alif Johnson up front fighting it out. now with lap 9 here at Barber.
Yeah, and when we go to these wider angles, you can kind of see Halterman and Whitlock behind, and you might notice that they are absolutely nowhere close to this battle. We went back green about 5 laps ago, and Clint Halterman has already slipped 4.5 seconds behind Jordan Johnson in second. He's up to sometimes even 5 behind him and Art Muhammad.
We might get a pass.
Jordan Johnson's on the push to pass down the straightaway, but he can't quite get there. Alif nearly in the grass, but he just barely keeps it on the racetrack.
Switch.
Expert driving as Johnson will take a peek, but Alif will close him off. As I said, expert driving, great defending from Alif right now. They're both on the push to pass. It'll be Johnson around the outside, and
No
he
way.
might get it here. They're still side by side for the lead of this race. It's Jordan Johnson who's going to have the inside down into this corner on R. Muhammad Alif. But Alif is going to hold it for now. Maybe no. Alif is way wide.
Go side by
and
side.
Jordan Johnson holds the lead. Alif back up the inside. Won't get it. He has to back out through the S's. And Jordan Johnson is your new race leader on lap 10.
Exceptional, spectacular race craftsmanship right there. As you saw, Jordan Johnson absolutely just gunning it, and we saw it through those S's. I mean, I was getting ready for a netcode or a collision because two cars going through those tight S's. I thought it was impossible, but these two always put on a show, and they can show it. What is possible is possible. And so now Jordan Johnson up front. So Alif, we saw him struggling with those rears. Can he hold on here? As right now, a lap 11 out of 47. So on my, I guess in my notes here, I have, it looks like we have another 10 laps or so as Alif
Side by side.
bombs it. But can he do something about it? Jordan Johnson's going to hold on the outside. Still side by side. We're going to get a little bit of deja vu from last race. Sorry, last lap. As Johnson, he's going to send it in. Alif is going to have to, yeah, he's going to have to gas it off. I think Johnson was a little bit more aggressive that time, and if Alif was going to be side by side right there, I believe they're going to be wrecking out of that corner. So smart move by Alif, being able to just lay it back, be patient, but Alif knows every lap. Oh, and Alif goes a little bit wide there. Jordan Johnson just picked up 5 car lengths there, and that's what I'm talking about, is just Johnson being able to just cut in tighter through the apex, and Alif maybe just a little bit too open into the corners and having to use those rears. And as we see right there, 6/10 now between the top two.
Yeah, Art Muhammad Alif always seems to be really good on like the short run pace, but Jordan Johnson is a master at saving tires, and he's able to come back later as we've got a side-by-side battle for 7th. This is Jake Cummings and Ben Fiore. Cale Davidson got around Jake Cummings and has tried to check out, but he's still kind of in front. So Jake Cummings is trailing Cale Davidson as Ben Fiore trails him, trying to get the move done. And then behind them is John Hagan from Oklahoma in 9th, making his 2nd start of the year. We've had 5 races this year. 4 races were won by the top 3 drivers. 2 by Alif, 1 by Halterman, 1 by Jordan Johnson, and the other, John Hagan, in 9th. He'll want to join them up in the top 4 later in this race.
I was gonna say, this is John Hagan's 2nd ever CIL FC debut. Can't discount him out yet. He knows how to drive on the oval. We'll see what he can do here, as right now sitting pretty in P9. But I mean, while we're talking about all these drivers, let's why don't we go through the top 10? Maybe a little bit too early, but wait, hold on. Sorry, Jake Cummings under the attack of Ben Fiore. Can he hold him off here? Oh, he's close. He's right there at the bumper. It looks, we're gonna see who has a better exit. And Jake Cummings with those black tires, you'd think that at this point maybe the tires will kind of turn around for him, that he's gonna be better on those reds.
It hasn't seemed that way as of yet, and if I was one of these drivers on the red tires and I was seeing myself still be faster than Jake Cummings more than halfway through this run, I'd start to get a little scared that maybe when I have to switch over to those hard tires in a few laps, it might not end well for me. Ricky Paz saw that coming. He's pit. He's back up to 17th. Some of these guys who didn't do that, who are Ben Fiore up here, might have to deal with the trouble of using those hard tires if, in fact, they don't really end up wearing. Most positions gained since the start of the race. Aiken Lamar up 8 spots from 22nd. He's moved up to 14th nearly going. Marlo Duncan is up from 16th to 12th. Ben Fiore from 11th to 8th. Tyler Klingensmith is up to 19th. And Jonathan Egge from 24th to 21st as the battle for 6th between Davidson, Cummings, and Fiore rages on.
Yeah, so well, me personally, the CIL biggest mover of the day, it's got to go to Aiken Lamar, up 7 positions from P22 up into P15. He's currently on those reds, so another one of those, I would say, potential victims of people having to go on the blacks. And I'm not gonna lie, Ricky Paz, maybe he made the right move, right? Maybe in those short in those short turns, he realized that the blacks were not gonna be it. So him moving over to the reds might have saved his run, perhaps. As right now, Ricky is currently, I believe he is up into P16. So remember, he started on that restart P23. He is up now to P16. So 8 positions from the restart. And as we saw, Hunter Hasty making the pass there in front of, I believe, John Hagen. So John Hagen unfortunately falls back to 10th. So OU not looking OU for now, and hopefully Cohen Evans is trying to get closer, but we'll see if John Hagen can hold him off.
Yeah, I mean, we had a winning streak to keep up. We had a what have we won? We've won like 7 out of 9 races that we've entered this year. Let's keep that going. John Hagen in 10th. Starting to drop off. You saw him kind of in the grass right before he got passed by Haddisty. And now Cohen Evans is still on the bumper. And now he might take a look up the outside from 10th or 11th. Cohen Evans is one of those drivers that I think has really kind of benefited from the switch to IndyCar this year. He's been running consistently around the kind of the back half of the top 10, and he's there again in 11th today. Trying to make that move on Jake, or not on Jake Cummings, on John Hagen for 10th, as Hagen really starting to battle on those worn tires. I think with his kind of lack of experience at the track, definitely might have burned him up a bit too early, and that's costing him the latter part of the turn.
Burn him up is a very soft way to say it, but I would say those tires are destroyed. I mean, you saw him coming down to the front straightaway. He was wiggling that thing. He was wheeling it around. So hopefully he can hold him off until the next pit stop, and which I believe we're about to come up in around 6 laps or so. But on my notes here, technically, if they wanted to, they could go into the pit right now. So pit window is actually open right now. The drivers can come in right now and make it to the end on another stop. So pit window open right now. We'll see if the drivers, maybe even the leaders, under pit. I would be surprised if Alif underpits him and goes in now, because on my sheet, if he pits in now, he goes and then he runs 18 laps on the next pits again, he will make it on fuel.
Yeah, one thing I do kind of want to point out is some of the drivers who have ran like the Cup race recently, who are doing really well today. I mean, we know last week in the Cup race we had or last Monday in the Cup race we had a road course race, and some of the guys who were in that race who did well there have kind of come over here, and they're now running well here. Lucas Moody in 5th was 2nd. Muhammad Ali won that race. Clint Halterman had a decent run going until some accidents kind of set him back. Aiken Lamar has been running kind of in the Cup Series and new this year. He's been a FC regular for a while. He's coming to the Cup Series, and he had a pretty good run last week as well. So a lot of drivers who run these FC races have moved on to the oval, and they've gotten some experience that they're trying to take here. Ben Fiore has gotten around Jake Cummings, who has he ducked into the pits, or no? My bad. I cannot read. Ben Fiore is still behind Jake Cummings. He's gotten around Cale Davidson.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Cale Davidson. He was in P6. Let me see if I can try to see what happened to him. Oh, he went into the grass. He went to the grass 4 corners before the front straightaway. The part where we saw earlier, where a lot of them went off track, where John Hagen went in the grass. Yeah, it looks like Cale Davidson up the hill lost a little bit of lateral grip and unfortunately has fallen back to P8. So Jake Cummings and Ben Fiore has now passed him. And that's unfortunate. As we see somebody off track, it looks like Lee Kane, one of the lap cars, he decided to take the world's most expensive lawnmower. He's gonna let them by and safely rejoin the track. Good on Lee Kane, running in P22. And we saw the first driver get on pit road, the GOAT Alan Hong. He's the first one to pit, so he is on a strategy. He can go and make it on fuel in the next pit stop. But Lee Kane looks like he's not sure if he's going a little bit slow there. As we see Ryan Whitlock getting closer and closer to Clint Halterman, but not yet. So we'll see if maybe Ryan Whitlock decides to underpit Clint Halterman. That would be a good idea, as right now the leaders have taken it. It's 17th lap of the race. So I believe in the next 3 laps or so, we should see some pit road movement.
Yeah, one thing to note about Lee Kane is he has not made a lot of road course starts in the CIL. I believe this is his first traditional road course start in Formula C. He's made it to both the ovals, and he made a good run in Montreal, but this is his first time on like a real proper road course here in Formula College, and that might be a little bit of why he's not had the race he wants so far back in 22nd. Ryan Whitlock and Clint Halterman have been going at it for a long while now, and they are still here for third. Both kind of running their own race. Lucas Moody's gained a little, but he's still 3 back, and Clint Halterman has fallen 6.6 back of Elif and 7.7 back of Jordan Johnson as the run goes. And we might start seeing some pit stops here soon, but not quite yet.
Yeah, gotta give it up to this man right there, the number 81, Ryan Whitlock, our not only our CIL Collegiate Sports Car Challenge director, he has been running so close to Clint Halterman. You'd think all that dirty air messes his tires up, will get him to go slower. No, he is still on pace with Clint Halterman, so P3 won't be easy for Clint, so he's going to have a challenge there with Ryan Whitlock.
Yeah, we're showing Alan Hong. I believe he's the only car who has pit under green so far. He's come out in 23rd. He's quite far back as it is, but he's the only car who's come down to put new tires on it, and I believe he put another set of reds on it. Jordan Johnson has pulled 1.5 ahead of our Muhammad Alif here. I mentioned that he was a master at saving tires, and we've seen that as Haddisty has now made the move on Cale Davidson, who's really falling off late in this run. He's maybe got the same issue that his teammate Alif has, which is that he wore the tires out really early in the run, and as it progresses, he's found himself unable to keep up to the pace that some of these drivers like Jordan Johnson and Hunter Haddisty are setting. And this is going to be a really big win for Jordan Johnson if he gets it, because he is quite a bit back in the points. He's 65 points back. You get 10 points more for a win than a P2, and he'll be looking to take advantage of that if he can get it done and win this race.
Yeah, and not to toot my own horn, but I got my little binoculars here, and I'm not trying to call out Cale Davidson, but I've seen him really run off track. I think that is turn 15 or 14, either one of those. I think turn 12 or turn 13. He gets off track and he eats up through the grass, so I believe those front rights or front lefts are just dead. He can't turn that car. The only way I've been watching him lately is just using those rears, and I've seen some people through the short S's that the rubber has been building up, so people who overshoot it, they get in that rubber, the tires get dirty, even worse. So right now the leaders have taken it, or about to take lap 21. So I got on my sheets here, they should be close to the maximum stint that they can do on fuel, as it looks like, yeah, the leader's staying out once again. So lap 21 out of 47. They're gonna make another course around the circuit, but yeah, this is interesting. I didn't think they're gonna last this long.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of cars who have not really pit yet. We've got pretty much everyone except for Alan Hong and Ricky Paz has not pit yet. A lot of drivers who are staying out. A lot of drivers who haven't used too much push to pass either to try and keep that gas in the car. And you got to think at this point, if they're stretching it to lap 23, lap 24, at that point, it is a one stop, and they're going to have to put on the other tire. So the cars who spent this first stint on hards are going to go on the softer tires, which seem to be the faster option, while the cars on the hards are going to have to switch, or while the cars on the softs are going to switch to those maybe a bit slower hard tires. The only exception being that man right there, 15th place Ricky Paz, who pit for softs on lap 2, and we'll get to take another pair of them if he so chooses.
Yeah, and you mentioned it, Sky, push to pass. Mind giving us, the viewers, a little bit of a refresher, more so for the newer audience. What is push to pass and why on a road course?
Yeah, 200 seconds throughout the race that you can use push to pass. You hit the button, it gives you a little bit of extra horsepower, but in return, in some of these fuel mileage races, you use a little bit extra gas. And we've heard from some of the podium guys a couple times this season that they were intentionally laying off the push to pass to save gas. Might be something that comes into play here, but if you are willing to push it and push that engine a little bit more, it'll give you a little bit of extra horsepower to try and get a move done. We saw Jordan Johnson and Alif were on it a lot earlier in this race. Some other cars further back are as well.
I'm so sorry. I did not mean to scare the viewers. I was just watching Jordan Johnson trying to get past a lap car. I mean, I don't know what Dylan Beatty was doing for Ball State University, the Seattle FC rookie. As they were going down the back straightaway, reaching the breaking point into the S's, Dylan Beatty just, it looked like he was going to let Jordan Johnson pass.
Jordan Johnson almost spun it right there. He has lost a second to Muhammad Alif, and Alif is closing in. Johnson had to wheel that thing back straight. Maybe even a sabotage there from the Ball State teammates to help the Ball State driver.
I was gonna mention, yeah, that I don't know. Listen, I'm all for Sky. I'm all for team play and teamwork, right? But I'm gonna have to call out Dylan Beatty there. As we saw, I was watching him down the straightaway right as they got into the braking zone. It looked like he was gonna let Jordan Johnson by, but he made a late break, which caused Jordan Johnson to think, okay, he's gonna take the next corner, so I'm gonna fall back behind him. And he even got on the brakes even more. That caused Jordan Johnson to swerve last minute. And on my end, it looked like he got front left damage. So I don't know if he still has a wing on there, but I feel like he got a little bit of damage. Which look at Leaf, he's right up there with them. So I think Jordan Johnson has a little bit of damage on his front left wing.
He's getting a little bit of deja vu because he's coming up on another lap car here of Lee Kane from Southern Mississippi, who hopefully won't do the same thing. Lee Kane, not affiliated with any team in this fight. I think he'll be a little more courteous here and let Jordan Johnson and Alif by, and he will down into that corner. Yeah, Lee Kane will go really wide, make sure they can both get through. I'm going to say Alif accused me of throwing to help out my teammates. Damn. Look at that.
Look at that, how the turns have tabled. I mean, I was going to mention, if I had a nickel for every time Jordan Johnson got screwed over by a lap car this race, I've got 2 nickels. Not a lot, but it says enough.
Jason Wallet doesn't have a nose on the car there.
I think Jason Wallet also has a run-in with a lap car. Yeah, I'm trying to see on my end if Jason Wallet still has his,
no,
what number is he? Yeah, he actually, I'm looking back at the replay here. It looks like he actually, oh no. So it looked like he locked up the tires going down that hill right here. Yep, we got the replay, and he locked up the tires, hits the inside guardrail, and absolutely destroys that front wing. And unfortunately, yeah, and now he's just now pulling into pit road. So Jason Wallet, P17, fell back. I believe he was in P14. Now he's in the pits, and he's gonna have to repair that. So the guys on the pit crew, they're gonna have to do their job as Aiken Lamar. We see him trying to throw in something onto the inside. Yes, he does. As the number 94, can he make a pass at Marlo Duncan, a CILFC rookie? He does the switcheroo. He's gonna try and go down the inside, down into the S's. No, he does not. He's gonna have to lift and gonna have to fight for another turn. And behind him, Ricky Paz up there in P14. He makes the pass on Thornton Thomas just moments ago. So Ricky Paz making good use of those, I would say, 4-lap pressure tires.
But Thornton Thomas is also on the black tire, which means when he pits, as we are on a 1-stop now, everybody's gonna have to pit. He will go to the reds, and we see the first cars hitting the pit lane. Lucas Moody and Cale Davidson both in, along with Jonathan Eggy of Robert Morris, all making their first pit stops of the race. Moody, Wallet, and Davidson are all guys who really want good point stays, and Moody and Davidson are going to need a good pit stop here to pull that off. A lot of cars further back coming in as well. We see Marlo Duncan and Aiken Lamar making stops as well.
So it looks like it was a double pit for the Ball State University drivers of Lucas Moody and Cale Davidson. So similar strategies what they're playing out, but unfortunately, as we mentioned, they got to go on the black tires. So we'll see how much they can make these tires work, because we saw Jay Cummings fading through the field. So we'll see if the track, maybe at this time it's rubbered in, maybe the blacks will come to life a little bit better, but time will only tell. As right now it looks like Jordan Johnson, Alif is into the pits now. Alif is now into the pits, so our race potential leader update is now in, and we'll see if he's going to put on the blacks. Yes, he does. He will put on the black tires. He has to, but remember, they're not good on field.
I think they are. I think they are. I think they're good on field.
You think so?
I think they're good on field. They wouldn't pit right now if they weren't good on field.
But they got 21 laps to make it to the end, and we got estimated.
They just went 26. They're good on fuel.
Well, they did have help with the safety car, so I hope you're right. It will be interesting to see how the race strategy plays out, but Leaf comes out right behind, unfortunately, a lap car. Oh, as Cohen Evans locks up a little bit, goes out wide. He says, you know what? Let it have it. And a Leaf goes by with no problem up into P7.
John Hagan into the pits as well, but Jordan Johnson, Clint Halterman, Ryan Whitlock, all these cars up front have not made their pit stops yet. So for now, it is just a Leaf and Hagan and his Ball State teammates back there who have really come into the pit lane. And now Jordan Johnson is in from the lead as Ryan Whitlock has made a pass on Clint Halterman, who has also pulled off into the pit lane. So Johnson and Halterman into the pits. Whitlock will stay out.
And one thing to know, right there, you see our potential race leader, Muhammad Ali, taking the last corner now, down into the last corner, out of turn 16, up the front straightaway, as Jordan Johnson has now fitted his tires. He's going out. They're going to go side by side. Who's going to be out of the pits? It's going to be close, and Jordan Johnson cuts off the nose, and he's able to hold on the lead. Wow, what an amazing outlap, especially, I would say, for a Leaf, as he got really close. He was there, almost there, but he's gonna send it in. He's got the tires warmed up, as Johnson has those cold black tires, so Muhammad Ali has the benefit of one lap, and yes, he does. He makes it look easy as he passes by Jordan Johnson and a new race leader, well, existing race leader, and once again, a Leaf up front for Ball State.
Yeah, if I am Muhammad Ali, I am looking at my notes for this race, and there is one thing underlined in big letters after the first stint, and it is save tires. Because you saw how that came back to bite him at the end of the last stint. He dropped about a second and a half behind Jordan Johnson before he had that near accident, and Johnson was able to lose a second. So Leaf was really far back for most of that run, especially the further on it went, the further he dropped. So he wants to save tires as Jordan Johnson is almost into the fence behind him, and that'll give Leaf a little bit of breathing room.
Breathing room indeed. I mean, a Leaf, I bet you he was like, come on, spin out, hit the guardrail. And he was able to save as Ryan Whitlock out of pit road. Clint Halterman has now, and Ryan Whitlock does it. He has over-pitted Clint Halterman, unless, looks like Clint Halterman slow on the outlap, on the in-lap, I should say. Ryan Whitlock was able to capitalize and get in front of Clint Halterman, so we saw Ryan Whitlock being held up by Clint Halterman through the first stint, and we'll see if Ryan Whitlock will just drive away and maybe even get up to the leaders.
There are only going to be a few cars who are on those red tires, and most of them are going to be a little further back. Jake Cummings is the farthest up in 5th. Ricky Paz will be on them in 12th. Thornton Thomas will be on them in 14th. And I believe we're going to have a couple other cars who are on those red tires maybe have not hit yet. But once they do, they'll be able to cycle around and put them on.
That was really interesting. So Jake Cummings, he pitted at lap 27. So only 2 laps ago that Jake Cummings has pitted, and he's up into P5. So I don't know if he had a really good in-lap or out-lap where the other guys were really slow, but he's on those reds, so he has a shot here as he's only 5 seconds behind Clint Halterman and Ryan Whitlock. So Converse University, don't close out the stream yet, because he has a shot for the podium.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a time for Jake Cummings to push. He wants to go as hard as he possibly can. You see him, he's on the push to pass. There's not even anyone in front of him to pass. He's just on the push to pass to try to make a little bit of extra horsepower, use it like a bit of DRS, and try to get a little extra speed towards those cars of Whitlock and Halterman while he has those fresh red tires, and it's working because now the gap is down to 4.5 seconds. The only issue is when he does catch them, he's got 40 less seconds of push to pass, and that might come back to bite him.
Yeah, and coming to bite him probably, as I would like to note on the bottom right, most positions gained. So especially after that green flag run, and I'm not mistaken, Aiken Lamar, the number 94, is in up 7th position. So CIL current biggest mover of the night. And also, not to discredit what's happening on your screen, folks, as you see, it looks like Jordan Johnson up there with the Leaf. He's caught up now with those black tires, up to speed, up to life. So we'll see if Johnson, he's a tire whisperer. We'll see what he can do as right there in front of them, 2 lap cars. I wonder who they are. It's Alex Fernetti and Adrian Tupagoic, as Alex is going to let them by. He's going to respect the leaders, so good on him. But Adrian Tupagoic, the number 38, is still up front. And hopefully that is, I would say that's affecting a Leaf, giving that dirty air, and Jordan Johnson getting ever so close with him.
Yeah, you saw Jordan Johnson took a peek into the corner, but he pulled it back in because he wasn't quite close enough. He might be close enough here. A Leaf will block really well. It almost forced him off the track. He couldn't make the move there. So it's going to be up to Jordan Johnson to try and get this run. He might do it. He's got the nose in, but a Leaf is going to slam the door once more, and Jordan Johnson is still stuck in second. He looks faster. I think Jordan Johnson might be able to pull away a little bit if he can get the lead. But a Leaf is such a good defender. He's holding them off really well.
But time is ticking, and there's only so much that Jordan Johnson has. Right there is the lap. The leaders have taken lap 31 of 47, so 16 laps left for Jordan Johnson to make a move in. I mean, right now you see him close and close, but remember, he's with that dirty air, and I'm pretty sure on those blacks you have to be much more on the gas. You got to be more aggressive. And that means using up those tires more. So Jordan Johnson sending it down the S's. You see how close he gets. Nearly gets in the back bumper of a Leaf, but luckily no contact. Almost close for a netcode. But, I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see if Johnson doesn't absolutely destroy his tires trying to get by him.
Yeah, one thing to note, Jordan Johnson has 30 extra seconds of push to pass. A Leaf was using a lot of push to pass when he was kind of in second, a second back of Johnson, trying to help him get like a second wind in the draft, but it didn't really work for him. So now he's used up a lot of it, and Jordan Johnson has considerably more, and he's on it again, a Leaf is. So a Leaf is using that push to pass a lot more liberally than Jordan Johnson is. That might come back to haunt him in the final few laps of this race, if Jordan Johnson keeps hounding.
Indeed, indeed. And a little bit of an update as we were mentioning earlier, Jay Cummings is catching up slowly but surely. He's now only 4 seconds behind less than 4 seconds right now. He's 3.6. So he is currently catching up to Clint Halterman, and that also includes catching up to Ryan Whitlock. So I would say I'm going to estimate around 7 to 10 laps that Jay Cummings is in position, probably, hopefully, for a top 3. But as we see on screen, that is the battle we really want to focus on, are these two. Mano a mano, a Leaf and Johnson. They are buddies off the track, but on track, they are their biggest competitors to each other. So Ball State University versus Kent State University. Prime time here at the Seattle FC, round 6. It is going to be a very, I would say 15 laps of fun and exciting, as a Leaf looks like he got a little bit loose off the corner there, and Johnson having a run. Does he sense something? I don't know if they're using push to pass right now. He does not. He's just using the draft. So yeah, Johnson biding his time and probably waiting for the right time to attack. As you see how close he gets to the grass, he's absolutely using everything on the track, trying to have the extra edge, trying to get anything out of it. As you saw, he uses a little bit of push to pass, but gets off of it. So it looks like he's just using it right at the exit of a corner, but gets off of it, so he gets the draft well and done in the middle.
Using that push pass was really an art. Jordan Johnson's back on it now, just a little bit, a couple seconds. Try and get him closer to a Leaf before the S's, so we can maybe make a run out. He's not able to get it there, but he's still only 2/10 back, and the gap is not extending. A Leaf is not getting away. Johnson is staying behind him, he's biding his time, and he's going to wait till a Leaf makes a little mistake and he can send a move up the inside. Because he knows he's faster for right now, and with 15 to go, he might be kind of sitting like a shark in the water, waiting to bite in the last 15 laps of this race.
Yep, and as the leaders takes lap 34 out of 47, I think it's a good time as ever to go over the top 10, so I'll take over the top 5. You go with the rest of the top 10. So a Leaf and Johnson are 1 and 2. Johnson wanting to get a win. We've seen a lot of times where Johnson, every time he's been in a battle with the Leaf, he's won once, but a lot of the other times he's been tangled up in his own mess or in other people. So maybe today is the difference maker, as we see lap traffic in their way, and it looks like that is Tyler Klingensmith trying to cling on to the lead lap, but I mean, that is just going to cause the traffic mayhem, as yes, as I was saying, a Leaf locks up trying to avoid Tyler Klingensmith, makes Jordan Johnson ever so closer, but not close enough as they go through the other S's. Down the straightaway, Johnson getting a good toe. He's going to look on the inside. Johnson and Leaf blocks it, not letting him have any inch in towards him, and he's able to hold off for another corner.
Yeah, we saw Tyler Klingensmith there. We also saw Nick Henley, another Ball State car going one down. He got out of the way really quickly, unlike Dylan Beatty. Probably not wanting a repeat of that situation. You take you to the rest of the top 5 here. Ryan Whitlock is 10 seconds back. He is running P3, and he's slowly pulling away from Clint Halterman in P4, 2 seconds back from him. Jake Cummings is rapidly closing the gap to Clint Halterman. He's got that down to 2.5 seconds. He is running in 5th.
And rounding about our top 5, in 6th place, Benjamin Fior, the number 55, having a good run today. We don't see him often in the top 10, but yes, you do right now. Number 6 for him. He is currently 3 seconds back of Jake Cummings. Behind him, Lucas Moody, the Moody Missile. Number 7 for the Ball State. He is second best Ball State driver right now in the top 10. He is also another 3 seconds behind Ben Fiore. Behind him, Hunter Hasty, the number 888. He's not running a lot of races this season, but it's as if he never left. He's currently P8, 6 seconds behind Lucas Moody. Behind him, Cohen Evans for Purdue University, number 17 and 9th, and Cale Davidson are the 3rd Ball State University driver in top 10. Out, and really, he's actually catching up to Cohen Evans. He's only 4/10 behind, so imminent move there for P9 soon enough. But right now, the focus is up front. Alif and Johnson duking it out. Right now, the next car in front of Alif, the lap traffic, is Jason Wallet, who's currently 8.5 seconds away. So, looks like Alif is going to have some clean air for the next few laps.
Did something happen to our race biggest mover, Aiken Lamar? Because he is in a long pit stop right now.
Oh no, don't tell me.
He's been in there for 25 seconds. He was our race biggest mover. He had moved up about 8 or 9 positions.
Do I say the bad news?
The field. What happened to him?
Looks like as he was going up the corner in turn 4, he got in the marbles. And in the marbles, he got in the marbles. His car spun, he hit the guardrail, and it looks like he lost his front right wing. So right now the pit crew are trying to change and put on a new front wing, but unfortunately he is now out of the top 10 contention. He is currently P8, and as I'm mentioning right now, they just put his new front wing, and he's in the car again, so he's gonna get going. But unfortunately now 2 laps down, Aiken Lamar looks like he is out of the top 10 for tonight.
And not gonna be a good points day for him, and he is the driver again. Really could have used a good points day. He's 23rd in the points. I know this season has not gone the way he's wanted. We've seen him show top 10 speed in the past. He doesn't have one this season. His best was 11th at Montreal, and he crashed out very early in that big one at the Indy Oval. So he's needing to rebound, and he thought he had a chance to do it today, but he's going to have to be in the pits, and that will eliminate those chances.
Yeah, well, here's one good thing. If Aiken Lamar is watching this right now, Adrian Tupagogue, he pulled over and he's out. It looks like he's out of the car, so something might have happened with him. But they're on the same lap, so if Aiken Lamar can get his car rolling, he has one spot free in front of him to take over. So wherever he's at right now, I believe he's currently clocking in right now P22. If he overtakes Adrian in front of him in the pits, he will move up to P21. So, I mean, any points is useful, but as you said, really, it's going to be a tough day for him to swallow. A tough pill to swallow. And another thing to really, to watch and kind of nerve-wracking is Alif Johnson behind him, still not letting him go, less than 5/10. I mean, clock's ticking. We got only 14 laps left, and Alif trying to hold on as he is currently, he's going to catch up to Jason Wallet as he is currently 6 seconds ahead of him, now 5.5.
Yeah, Alif is still tailing Johnson is still tailing Alif. My bad. He is getting a little closer. He's run a little faster the last 2 laps, but he had a really bad run on lap 35 that kind of erased a lot of the progress he was making. I've seen Johnson be a little more on that push to pass in recent laps, trying to get the speed up, using that extra horsepower, and you can see Alif has run it down to 49. Johnson has run it down to 89. So those two have really been getting after it. Jake Cummings in 5th, who's been making a lot of time on Clinton Halterman, has also been using that push to pass up, but he's got about 100 seconds left than Clint Halterman, and that could affect him if he's able to close the gap and get up to that battle.
Yeah, so it looks like the whole top 10 string now, and you know what's always best that when a commercial pops, when we run commercials, something interesting happens, and I'm tempted to say we should go into commercials. So don't go anywhere, folks. We're gonna take a short, quick break. So we're gonna leave this battle on side by side here with the Leaf and Johnson. This is the CL round 6. Don't go anywhere as the leaders are about to finish off this spectacular race. We'll be right back. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the round 6 of the CIL FC. And right now, as you see, folks, still battling out Alif and Johnson. And honestly, this time around, Sky, it looks like Alif has, I think he heard you. And in bold text, save tires. And that's what he did. He's holding off Johnson. I think those tires, maybe he's better on the blacks rather than the reds. And so far, still in front.
Yeah, they're working for him. He has not been passed yet, but with 7 laps to go, absolutely anything could happen. They're coming up on more lap cars here in front of him, I believe. That is Jason Wallet. Yes, it is in the Drexel machine up in front of him, and there's just 2 more right up the road. So these lap cars, if they don't get out of the way, could play a factor in the end of this battle.
Well, it's only going to be a matter of time, and if I sound like a broken record saying that, but I mean, matter of time, I think we're losing time here. As Jordan Johnson, a 10th slower this time around, and I mean, we see him just lunging it in. He's absolutely throwing it around, trying to get a better exit, but he just can't. But wait, folks, we got 3 lap cars up ahead. Jason Wallet, first one up for Drexel University. We'll see what happens here, what shakes things up as we'll see if Jordan Johnson will take advantage of the situation.
Yeah, he's going to have to because he's starting to drop a little further back. He's 4/10 back. He needs to get that speed up. He was faster in Sector 1, and he's pretty much always faster in Sector 3, but a bad Sector 2 for Jordan Johnson last time around set him back. He's trying to get closer. He got him back to 0.2 of a second, but he's not quite there yet. And he's going to have to hope Alif loses some time with the dirty air from these lap cars, because that is going to be something that could maybe get him the move. Alif is in the grass! Contact! Armand Alif is missing the rear wing.
I'm going to call it right now. I was watching from the POV. And Jason Wallet takes a little bit of the blame there. That hicked up Alif. He had to go wide there. He hit the grass. And Johnson, like I said, he's got to take any opportunity. And that first contact between him and Alif, that was netcode. I can tell you that right now. That was the most atrocious netcode I've ever seen. That was a foot length, not even 3 foot. But that second contact after Alif got around, they did make contact on that front wing, on the front part of their car. So I'm gonna say that first contact was netcode. Second contact was gonna happen either way.
Tried to fit about 3 cars there in the space of 2 cars. We'll get a replay. Alif goes off, coming out of the corner here. He just catches a bit of grass. Johnson sees an opportunity and goes for it. His car net codes into the back of Muhammad Alif, and that will cost Alif a lot of time, and the stewards will have something to do other than check their fantasy football lineups now, because they're going to have to make a ruling. I'm going to have to imagine it'll be net code, though, for Jordan Johnson, because that was pretty egregious.
Yeah, and unfortunately, just a leader's update. I mean, listen, Alif's got 6 minutes left and 6 laps left. Remember what happened in Spa? These two got in together, Alif got damaged, and he was able to pull it off in P2, because he has his rear wing is gone. He has, I mean, it's barely held on by like a duct tape or a scotch tape. This man is still riding it around. He didn't go into the pits, so he's got 4 laps to go this time around. And yeah, it looks like our Muhammad Alif is gonna try and hold out here, but with no rear wing, no downforce, you saw him wiggle his way out. Ryan Whitlock has now caught up. He's now 1.5 seconds down into this corner, so Whitlock is in position to take P2. But Clint Halterman, 5 seconds out. Can he do something here?
Yeah, you can tell that car is absolutely no downforce at all right now. Alif is going to get caught by Whitlock. He might even get caught by Halterman. And Jake Cummings, who kind of burned up his red tires and has been stuck in a limbo zone halfway between Halterman and Ben Fiore, might even be able to get Alif as well. It does make sense to stay out because he's going to get a better position by staying out and running without that rear wing than he will by pulling into the pits. And yeah, Stewart note right there, incident between Alif and Johnson has been chalked up to netcode.
No further action from the stewards, so just as I suspected, and unfortunately, I mean, you hate to see it, right? It was an amazing battle, and oh man, I feel it for Alif as right now falling back to P3, but look behind him, Clint Halterman, a second out. I mean, he was my pick, and of course, my pick is going to get a top 3, I hope, as the alumni driver, well, alumni winner soon to be maybe, will hopefully get up as a podium. Is right now catching up. Just wow, just look at the difference. I mean, folks, if you didn't know what a rear wing does for a car, look what it does. As Clint Halterman, it's like stealing candy from a baby, has breezed by Alif, and now up to P3, and now Alif under attack soon enough by Jake Cummings at number 95, as you see him rounding about the corner right behind them, as Converse University trying to make something happen here, maybe in P4. Behind Jake Cummings is Ben Fiore. So Ben Fiore just got extra pace towards the end of the stint, so Alif might even get down to P6.
Yeah, it's going to be his teammate back in P7, too. I'll tell you who this is really good for. Jordan Johnson. He's going to have a great point stay here. Not only him, but Clint Halterman, the two drivers directly behind Alif in the standings, are going to finish 1 and 3 on that 65-point gap that Jordan Johnson needs to close. Is going to go a long way away here because he's going to get at least 20 points on Alif and likely even more. I mean, if he goes back to 7th and gets passed by Lucas Moody, that is a 25-point gain for Johnson.
Yeah, Jake Cummings makes the pass, and Ben Fiore right behind him. He wants to get that pass done real soon, real quick, as we saw him just right behind Jake Cummings. So a little bit of not lap traffic, but a little bit of traffic either way for Ben Fiore as Jake Cummings gets maybe 5/10 right there. But yeah, Ben Fiore on those hard tires looks like he babied those tires better than Jake Cummings. With 3 laps to go, we'll see if he gets to catch up to Jake Cummings. But right now, folks, your race leader, if you're just tuning in, as you see it there right in front of you. Alif damaged rear wing. Unfortunate netcode incident with Jordan Johnson, who good for him, has not received any damage and is up front in first, 13 seconds ahead of P2.
Yeah, he is going to drop. He might even drop to his teammate Lucas Moody. And I mean, I have to imagine he won't fall any further than 8th at the worst. But even 8th is going to be a horrible point stay for him.
And we were just talking about in the pre-race show, Sky, you mentioned about the points situation where Jordan Johnson, Clint Halterman, was trying to tail onto Alif, and Alif with that more than 60, well, not even 65 points cushion right now at the end of this race. I mean, maybe a little bit of commentator's curse. It always happens, so sorry, Alif, as now Lucas Moody, we see him behind, about to make a pass, 2 seconds out, and Hunter Hesty also close and closing in. I mean, with 2 laps to go, right now the leader about to take the white flag as Jordan Johnson goes to the last couple of corners here. It is going to be 1 lap left here at Barber Motorsports Park as Jordan Johnson takes the white flag this time around.
Yeah, or is it 1 to go or is it 2 to go?
It is now 1 to go. White flag is out.
All right, the ticker is lying to me. 1 to go here for Jordan Johnson. And Alif has fallen all the way back to 7th. He's now been passed by Lucas Moody as well. That's his teammate, and that is horrible for him. He's been in free fall. Jordan Johnson finished near last in the first 2 races of the season, and then wrecked almost immediately at Indy, and he's spent the whole time trying to tow it back, trying to get back up there in the points, and he's now there. He won't go to 2nd, but he'll close the gap a lot. It's only going to be 10 points to Clint Halterman, and by the end of tonight, it's only going to be about 40 to our Muhammad Alif.
But you saw right there, Ben Fiore trying to haggle the Converse University driver of Jake Cummings. Hold on to your hats, folks, because it's not over yet. They still have half a lap to go around as Jake Cummings trying to hold them off. But the focus right now, I want to turn our focus back to the leader, Jordan Johnson. As we see, he's got a little bit of traffic up ahead with Thornton Thomas trying to spoil him a little bit, but it doesn't matter as Jordan Johnson is going to be our race winner of the CL Round FC. Great job, Jordan Johnson, and Kent State University will take the win tonight, followed by Ryan Whitlock. Rounding about the last corner is going to be P2 for the number 81. And behind him, you saw it, Clay Alterman got a little bit of extra juice, but not going to be enough. And he's going to be not only the alumni winner, but the P3 for him. So, Clint, good job. Ben Fiore rounding about. Oh, and it looks like Jay Cummings was able to hold off Converse University, barely out of the podium, but a strong drive in the end. So give it up. Kudos for Jake holding off P4. And you see right there, a Leaf just dragging that wing around. He is going to finish out in P8. And before him was Lucas Moody and Hunter Hasty, rounding about P6 and 7 respectfully. Outside of Leaf, Cale Davidson, P9, and Cohen Evans for Purdue University and P10.
Yeah, Jordan Johnson getting his second win of the year as the University of Oklahoma's John Hagan will cross the line 11th tonight in his first race at Barber in any car on iRacing.
Hey, not bad for him.
Pretty solid result for him.
Yeah.
He did buy this track about 2 hours before the race. Jordan Johnson, as mentioned, this is his second win of the season, which is 2 more than the Kent State football team has all season. He's got 2 wins, he's got a second, and he is now pending any bonus points that are going to be given out tonight for things such as fastest lap. I believe, let's do the math here, 65 minus 26, put it in a calculator, 39 points back. He's nearly half that gap in one race.
And in a race, things can change. As Jordan Johnson, he's going to love that points. He's going to love it when he hears about the point situation. Is he going to start doing donuts as he still has some fuel left in that Indy Delara R18? As Jordan Johnson, our race winner tonight for Kent State University, he is going to be in victory lane tonight for the round 6 of the CIL FC at Barber Motorsports. And it is for the Charger Motorsports Grand Prix of Alabama.
Yeah, great result for him tonight. Great result for a couple drivers. Ryan Whitlock with a really strong run in his home race. It's the Charger Motorsports Grand Prix of Alabama, sponsored by that Alabama Huntsville, or sponsored by Charger Motorsports, I believe, and also an affiliation kind of with that Alabama Huntsville iRacing team. And they've got a really good run in their home race here, bringing it home third.
And Sky, I mean, it was a great night for you as well. Your pick wins the race. Well, it was gonna be my pick, but you know that's fine.
Hey,
Jordan
you let me go
takes the
first.
win.
You let me go first.
I did. Next time I won't. But you, like you said, Ryan Whitlock. I also got to mention a shout out for him. He had a terrible race last Monday for Road Atlanta. A really strong race for him, or would have been a strong race for him, and he needed points in the Cup Series. Unfortunately, he got taken out, and I also kind of tagged him there out of turn 6. But tonight, I'm so glad to see him having a better run in the other series, and P2 for him. I mean, we don't see him often in the podium. Always just so close, but tonight he has scored it. So let's go through the grid, and we mentioned it earlier, and we'll say it again. Congratulations, Jordan Johnson for Kent State. He's going to be P1 tonight, followed by Ryan Whitlock of University of Alabama Huntsville in P2 for the number 81. A perfect drive for the sponsor of this race, right? As you said, the Charger Motorsports partnered with Alabama Huntsville iRacing team. Claire Halterman rounding about our top 3 for UNC Charlotte. A strong drive for my pick. And Jay Cummings, P4 for Converse University, defending off Ben Fiore for Marist College in P5. Rounding about top 5, Lucas Moody of Ball State University in P6. The best finisher, Ball State University driver, so he's going to gloat it out to a Leaf. Followed by Hunter Hasty for Clemson University in P7. A Leaf, we saw him falling back for Ball State P8. His other teammate rounding about behind them, Cale Davidson in P9. And our last P10, Cohen Evans of Purdue University of Indianapolis, going to round about our top 10.
Yeah, by the way, I want to make a quick note here. We're going to be getting a joint interview from Clint Halterman and Ryan Whitlock tonight. John Hagan
Ooh.
for Oklahoma, P11. Ricky Paz, East Carolina, P12. Thornton Thomas from the Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology finishes 13th, with Marlo Duncan of the Milwaukee School of Engineering finishing 14th. Nick Henley, the fourth Ball State car in the field, will finish 15th, with Tyler Klingensmith of Robert Morris in P16. Last car one lap down will be Alex Finnerty of UNC Charlotte, while Alan Hong, the only St. Clair driver, will take home 18th. Dylan Beatty from Ball State, 19th, with Jason Wallet of Drexel rounding out your top 20 in 20th.
And lastly, our last 8, the last one, and it's going to start out with in P21, Lee Kane of University of Southern Mississippi, followed by Aiken Lamar of Howard Community College. Unfortunately, gone in the marbles. We saw him up front in the top 15, but top 10 potential. CIL biggest mover and the CIL biggest backer. Unfortunately, out in P22. Adrian Tibagoic, the P23 for St. Clair College. Jonathan Eggy for Robert Morris University in P24. Troy Cammy for New England College, P25. Wyatt Burton for Indiana. We saw him, unfortunately, a rookie mistake. He's going to have to learn a lot from tonight. P26 for the number 26 car. How fitting. 049, Alexander Diamond, who unfortunately got tangled up with Wyatt Burton in that first lap. P27 for him, for Drexel University, and Charles Wembley, who unfortunately did not make the field. He was a 107% rule violation, but technically we put him at 28th, but he has not scored for the points. He did not make the race.
And we're going to get an interview pulled up here with our winner, Jordan Johnson, if you want to introduce him, Edward.
Why, thank you, Sky. So, our race winner, and you mentioned it earlier, right? A joint interview? Is that what I heard?
No, we're going to get Jordan Johnson up here first, and then we'll get the other two in for the joint interview.
Right.
We've got Jordan in the booth.
I'm sorry. Yes, Jordan Johnson is in the booth. Jordan, congrats. And, I mean, a little bit of dark cloud over your head. I mean, we know that it was a big netcode, very atrocious. I mean, you could fit a football field length between you two. But talk to me. How does it feel to get this win? But had a great battle throughout the race, though.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely really tired after that. I'm literally sweating right now, so it doesn't happen often. I was really pushing the car pretty much within an inch of its life. I think that entire second stint, the rear was at no point in line with the front tires. I just was throwing the car around as hard as I could get it, especially in that last kind of 15 lap sprint where we were pushing our push to pass to drained. Yeah, it was a tough one. It was a really, really tough one. I really made a bad mistake in the pit stop, spinning up my tires coming out of the box, and then I hit the pit limiter when trying to hit my push to pass. So a bunch of little mistakes to clean up on my part, but happy to be able to bring it back and get a win, although not really the way I would have wanted to. The netcode was even pretty bad from my end. On my perspective, I had my wheel on his door, and then I look at it on replay now, and I don't even have a front wing past his rear wheel. It's tough. I hate to see it that way because we know how hard Leaf and I can battle, and it was a great battle every single time we were able to get side by side, but it's just one of those things, I guess.
Yeah, we were talking about this a lot tonight, and you have made great ground in the points. The Leaf ended up finishing 8th. You came back you came into this race 65 points back. You've come out of it 39 back. So you had a slow start. You're really starting to ramp it up. What's it going to take for you to close those last 39 points in on Muhammad Alif?
Perfect end to the season. I mean, this is about the halfway point, yeah, I think. So it's going to have to be really, really flawless. And I know there's still 2 ovals where I have a very good chance of losing a lot of ground if I'm not safe. I know Alif has a bit of an edge on me on the ovals. I got a lot of lap time and experience when we ran IMS oval, and it was a good experience gain there. But when it comes to tracks like Nashville, I mean, it was clear that I still am missing something, and ovals need to just do damage limitation and then go in and hope I can win the rest of these road courses.
Well, Jordan, that was an amazing race that you put on. A spectacular show of just racecraft. Of course, I was going to mention that through the S's, you send it in twice. You guys were side by side that first time around. So that was an amazing race you put on for everybody watching from at home. And before we let you go, how about a quick shout out?
Yeah, of course, I thank my team Apex Racing Academy and, of course, our main team Apex Racing team for all the help that they give us and the support. that they've given us through the past year, and I really look forward to continuing with them. Of course, all of our PCs, or our sponsors and partners, PCs or computer PC systems, Storeforce Gaming, SDK, VRS, and just everyone else that it's in the background in the day in day out, just making our ability to practice and be the best team possible.
Well, kudos to you. Good job, and good luck in your next race.
Thank you.
And that was our race winner, Jordan Johnson. A spectacular drive tonight and a real tire whisperer to the end. We'll bring up our second driver up, and Sky, you said this is the dual interview one.
We've got a dual interview here coming
Take
up
us
in the
away.
booth between Ryan Whitlock and Clint Halterman. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Well,
Yeah.
I am.
I'm doing all right, but I think I could have done better.
Well, Ryan, I wanted to ask, well, both of you, you guys were having a dogfight while we saw Johnson and Alif duking it out, and unfortunately getting together with a netcode. You two raced relatively clean and close, but unfortunately Whitlock with that P2 and Halterman with that P3. Clint, just know you were my pick of the night.
Man, I got the jinx.
I want to ask first, Whitlock, that first pit stop, I don't know if you underpitted him or you overpitted him, I forgot, but you were able to pass him during that green flag pit stop. I mean, tell me, how was the feeling when you got out of pit road?
It's actually really funny because Clint tried that on me at the Indy Road Course 2 races ago, and I think I was looking at my like fuel remaining, and it was something like 0.8 laps left when I crossed the line. So I thought, okay, I mean, I can extend this easily, just lift and coast into one corner and put it in map 2, and that worked. I came out like right ahead of Clint, pushed to pass on my end lap. It worked, and it got me some bonus points. So I think, watching Barber as much as I do in real life and going to the track as often as I do, I know that it's very much a strategy pit stop race. This race is won in the pit box from your crew, and it's won from the calls that your strategist makes. And I think that was a really good call. I think I was a bit quicker than Clint, but not quick enough to pass at this track.
Scott.
Yeah, I just want to ask a question. This one's more for Ryan specifically. This is your tied for your best run of the season, and it comes, of course, at your home track of Barber. Does that make it a little more special for you?
I'm very happy about that. I had an atrocious Road Atlanta Cup Series race. And yeah, Charger Motorsports decided to sponsor this race. It's basically our home race for the University of Alabama in Huntsville. Charger Motorsports is not only a sim racing team, but a real racing team. We work on a variety of cars, and we go to Barber all the time. A lot of us were there for the IndyCar race. A lot of us were there for the SRO GT3 race. One of us, I think, actually volunteered for the SRO GT3 race. So yeah, it's really nice to be on board for this race. Barber Motorsports Park is a track that means a lot to me and the rest of everybody at the University of Alabama in Huntsville. So yeah, really, really happy that I delivered a strong result on the home race, especially after how Monday went.
Well, definitely shout out to Charger Motorsports, Grand Prix of Alabama, for sponsoring tonight's race. So big shout out to them. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. And to even things out, this is my question to Clint now. So specifically to Clint, you were doing great. We saw you was suffering a little bit on those black tires, and Jake Cummings was catching up. I mean, did it ever occur to you that Jake was going to be a threat towards the end, or were you just like, let him catch up, and by the time he caught up, those red tires were going to die?
I think it was definitely a consideration. I don't know. Me and Ryan, I knew Ryan was probably faster than me because he wouldn't leave my gearbox. But I thought we had really similar pace, but I don't know what happened on the second stint. I really just couldn't get the black tires to fire off. And I saw Jake catching me a lot, but I was like, I think the gap. I kind of was thinking the gap was a little bit too much to overcome that with the tire offset there. Obviously his reds were a lot faster, but I figured he probably had to push too much and burn too much tire to actually catch up to me with the gap I had. But yeah, it's unfortunate. My cat wants to make it apparent. No, she doesn't. Okay. Now she's going back to her thing. But Yeah, I don't know. I was pushing really, really, really hard. I only felt like my tires started firing off towards, I don't know, with like 3 laps to go, um,
You
and
caught
then I
up with
started.
him.
Yeah, I know Ryan was saving some, but I
Oh
know
yeah.
I did my best lap of the race on the last lap, so I was using push to pass every single lap, and realized I should have probably been using more push to pass throughout the race. Probably during my in lap, probably I put in like a little bit extra gas just to be safe. Um, so yeah, that is just a couple of tenths I think was the difference between me and Ryan there because it is so hard to pass. Once when he got out in front of me, I was like, ah, no, that's probably the end of it. It's just hard to it's hard to be quick enough to stay with somebody and then have enough speed to make the pass because there's really only one overtaking spot at this track.
Right down into turn 6, I believe.
Yeah,
5.
into the
Charlotte to
hairpin.
web.
The
Yeah.
hairpin. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I mean, I was gonna say you were clocking in 3 tenths faster than Ryan Whitlock towards the end at that last lap, but not to rain on your parade, but I mean, you were close to the fastest lap, but the fastest lap actually tonight went to Jordan Johnson, a minute 8.406. So,
That's crazy.
yeah, he was saving a lot of push to pass towards the end, so I think he's hard charged there to the end. But let's wrap things up. So we'll go in racing order, unfortunately. So Whitlock is gonna go first. Give us your quick shout outs, followed by Halterman.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I wanted to shout out Charter Motorsports, University of Alabama in Huntsville. I already did that. I want to shout out Ricky. I think this is a really good schedule. It's kind of hard to get people to put Barber on the schedule because it's not a super popular track, but that was good. And shout out to the auto fuel calculator because that's the reason I had to say fuel at the end. It did the math based on me fuel saving. So when I wasn't saving, the math was wrong. So yeah, that was I literally crossed the line with 2 to go, and I hear crew chief go, "This is the last lap of fuel," and I go, "What?" So yeah, shout out to the auto fuel, and shout out to you guys for being in the booth, especially Matthew Norberg stepping up to do production.
Yes,
Last minute.
yes.
Matt, yeah, Norberg, I'll see you at Petite, buddy. I'll see you at Petite. All
All right, Clint.
right.
Yeah, but shout out the Orange Road Racing guys, of course. Ryan keeps beating me. I don't like it.
I
Gonna
forgot
have to,
OWR. Thank you.
yeah, gonna have to step up at Belle Isle, make sure I beat him there. But it's been fun. It feels like we have like 2 classes going on. We got Leaf and Jordan off in their alien party, and me and Ryan battling for best of the rest. But yeah, shout out to them. Um, Shout out to my cat here on the. I don't know if my camera's showing, but my cat's just
Oh.
sitting there. And yeah, shout out to y'all for putting on the broadcast and Norberg for stepping up. And yeah.
Well, folks, those were your 2 top 3 winners or finishers. Second and third, that is Ryan Whitlock from the 81 for University of Alabama Huntsville, and Clint Halterman, P3 of UNC Charlotte. Great job, gentlemen, tonight, and hopefully you have a better shot at the win next time around.
We'll see. See you there.
Thank you.
Well, Sky, that race did not disappoint. The ending may be a little bit of disappointment. I'm a little biased to say that, I mean, we were going to see a generational fight with Johnson and Leaf, but that did not end up happening.
Not quite. No, it was. We were so close. We're so close yet so far. Second race in a row that iRacing Netcode has ruined an insane battle for the lead. By the way, fix it, iRacing. Fix it.
We
Fix
have
it,
that
iRacing.
integrity.
Fix
Say
it.
it louder, Sky. Say it louder for the people in the back. Preach, because, I mean, just a little bit of a call out. You're right. You know, we're the only ones that have been calling out iRacing Netcode. I heard that in the
These do not reflect the views of my employers. iRacing, fix your netcode.
I'm just saying, eNASCAR got to sweep them up because we saw a lot of people on Twitter take it up the storm. So anyone here who was a Twitter super soldier, you know, y'all should clip this right now. This is me. This is my opinion. I do not reflect this upon CIL. But I mean, if you want to know where this is coming from, live here at CIL YouTube channel. If you aren't enjoying this already, hit that like button and subscribe. And let's go over. Well, we went over the grid. Did we go over the grid?
We have gone over the grid.
We have. Okay, so that means we got to go over the schedule. Sky, where are we going next week?
That's a great question. Cup Series or Formula College Series first. We are going to Belle Isle in Detroit. Woo! Belle Isle, great track. We love that place.
Next
I
week,
wish
same time.
I wish IndyCar went there in real life. Next week, October 16th, we will be there. And we do not have graphics for the other two series, but I can tell you the Cup Series will be at Chicagoland on Monday the 14th. And on October the 17th, your Collegiate Sports Car GT3 Championship will be running a 2-hour enduro at Road Atlanta, hosted by Edward Sanchez.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I was gonna mention, there has been a really big news in the CIL racing media, and that is that yours truly, Edward Sanchez, will be hosting full time for the CIL CSC for the remainder of the season. If any of you viewers watched the CSC last time around, I was unfortunately not there for Imola. We had our lovely Ryan Whitlock was able to commentate, as well as Nick Stockner, but I have cleared my schedule. And I'm glad to say that for the remainder of the CSC season, I will be a full-time commentary. So please tune in next Thursday. It is a 2-hour enduro race, of the first of its kind for CIL. It is definitely going to be something that you don't want to miss. And yeah, next Monday, me and Sky, we're going to hit the ovals once again from Road Atlanta to Chicagoland. And we've heard, I was going to say, you guys, if you guys want to see the only OU non-disqualified driver, go watch Sky next Monday, the GOAT Sky, who is the only non-disqualified,
not suspended. Woo!
Non-suspended.
No suspension.
I mean,
The
people
streak continues of
I was-
not being suspended.
I was gonna say, Sky, like, you're still chasing that first one like me, and you know your teammates have gone wins.
We'll get
but
there. We're
hey,
so close. We were unironically so close at Nashville.
you were so close, but Sky, at least you got the streak going for being the non-suspended.
Not
driver this
suspended.
season. But anyway, folks, that is all for tonight here live at the CIL FC at Barber Motorsports. Round 6 has concluded. It has been an amazing night. Thank you so much for tuning in. As I said, hit that like button or you're going to get a 4X in your next Indy official race. You don't want that to happen, so hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. From yourself, Edward Sanchez. Socials down below. Sky, last words.
Yeah, tune in next week. It's gonna be fun. We're at Belle Isle. Good track.
I have no idea what that track is gonna be like, so I'm gonna have to buy that track and I'm gonna test it out myself. So take care, everybody, and have a good night.